Liberal politics, which prioritize social justice, healthcare access, economic regulation, and social equality, are typically opposed by conservative politics. Hawaii, Massachusetts, and California are a handful of the states in the Union with the most liberal policies. The Democratic Party is regarded as the country's liberal political organization. Most Americans identify as liberal or conservative, or as Democrats or Republicans. Conservative states are ones that regularly elect legislation leaning towards conservatism and have a predominantly conservative populace. Conservative states frequently feature low tax rates, lax gun restrictions, high rates of religious observance, and little commercial regulations. States that lean Republican, or IRED, are the ones that do so the most. The most Republican state in the Union is Wyoming. In Wyoming, 67% of people identify as Republicans or as leaning Republican. All taxes in Wyoming are modest, and there is no state income tax. With the exception of the 1964 election, the state has chosen a Republican Party candidate for president each time since the 1950s. 1. Wyoming. The most conservative state in the Union is Wyoming. In Wyoming, 46% of people identify as conservative. All taxes in Wyoming are modest, and there is no state income tax. With the exception of the 1964 election, Wyoming has chosen a Republican Party candidate for president each time since the 1950s. With 69.9% of the state voting for Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election, the state had a PVI score of R+25 as of 2023. 2. West Virginia. West Virginia is the second most conservative state in the Union, scoring a R+22 PVI. In West Virginia, 45% of voters identify as conservative. Only 17% of people identify as liberal, in contrast. Donald Trump received 68.6% of the vote in the 2020 election, a marginal increase over the 2016 result. 3. The state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's PVI score is R+20, indicating a largely conservative state. In the state of Oklahoma, there were just 4 blue counties in the 2018 midterm elections. In the 2020 presidential election, 65.4% of voters cast ballots for Republicans, and in 15 of the previous 16 elections, the state has gone Republican. 4. The Dakotas. North Dakota is a Republican stronghold and another state with a R+20 PVI. In the 2020 presidential election, 65.1% of the state cast ballots for Donald Trump, up from 63% in the 2016 election. This increase suggests that there may be more conservative voters in upcoming elections. 5. Idaho. In addition, the proportion of Republican voters in Idaho increased from the 2016 to the 2020 presidential elections. In 2020, Donald Trump received 63.8% of the vote, compared to 59.3% in 2016. Idaho is classified as a R+18 state by the PVI. This state has only elected Democratic presidential candidates 29% of the time since 1900, and not since 2000. 6. Arkansas. Additionally, Arkansas has not elected a Democratic president since 2000, despite having done so more than half the time between 1900 and the present. This demonstrates how the state's views have evolved throughout time. With 62.4% of the state voting for Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election, it now has a R+16 PVI score. 7. Kentucky. R+16 PVI is also present in Kentucky. In both the 2016 and 2020 presidential elections, the state largely backed Donald Trump, giving him 62.5% and 62.1% of the vote, respectively. The state did really tilt Democratic between 1900 and 1960, but not since 1996 has it supported a Democratic presidential candidate. It's obvious that Kentucky is turning into a more conservative state over time. 8. The state of Alabama. With 46% of voters identifying as conservative, Alabama is the 9th most conservative state in the Union. With a PVI of R+15, 62% of Alabama voters supported Republicans in the 2020 presidential contest. In the previous 11 presidential elections, Alabama has gone Republican, and in the 2016 presidential election, 62.1% of voters cast ballots in favor of the party. A lot of Alabamans are also devout churchgoers, which is frequently associated with conservative beliefs. 9. South Dakota. South Dakota is the 8th most conservative state in the Union, with 44% of voters identifying as such. 61.5% of voters cast Republican ballots in the 2016 presidential election, a margin of 29.8% over the Democratic vote of 31.7%. In 2020, this marginally increased to 61.8%. Since 1964, South Dakota has abstained from electing a Democratic president. 10. Tennessee. 10th among the states in the U.S. in terms of conservatism is Tennessee. With 60.7% of the vote going to the Republican presidential nominee in both the 2016 and 2020 elections, it has a PVI of R+14. Tennessee has only supported a Democratic presidential candidate 4 times in the past 50 years. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the top 10 most conservative states in the United States. From Wyoming to Tennessee, these states have a strong tradition of conservative values and have consistently supported Republican candidates in presidential elections. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more insights into political landscapes and trends across the U.S. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Do you live in one of these conservative states, or do you have any observations to share about their political leanings? Your feedback is valuable to us. Stay tuned for more informative content, and until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and keep exploring the political diversity of our great nation. Thank you for watching. Feel free to customize it further to suit your video's style and tone.